What's up, my dudes? So, why do Call of Duty maps suck now? I don't know, bro. I think one of the biggest things is it seems like just about every map in Call of Duty these days, it's like you're in some sort of indoor corridor feeling like you're playing goddamn Halo all the time. It doesn't even feel like Call of Duty anymore. And I think this is one really big thing that has hurt the game just in general is the maps. It's like every map, even if it's an outdoor map, they somehow managed to integrate this like corridor system to it to where it feels like the whole time you're on the map, you're really just in these tight-knit little super close quarter battle. There's like no organic, off in the bushes, off in the trees, long distance. There's hardly any of that anymore in Call of Duty. That's totally eliminated that feeling just simply with map design. You might not think it would be capable of doing that with something that simple, but it is, bro. Like I'm telling you, that's one biggest thing that's strayed me away personally from some of these newer Call of Duties. I would say it started somewhere in the neighborhood of like obviously Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, and it's kind of just carried through. All the Call of Duties that I've seen thus far have kind of had that same bizarre feeling, man. It's like, you wouldn't think something just as simple as map design would totally change the game like that, but I'm telling you, it's massive. It's a massive thing for me personally. Now that's just me. Some people that love that kind of like really let's see how you say it, really dependable feel, like that really, each little corridor, each little lane. It's like basically there's no place to hide, right? Like I get why people would like that, kind of eliminates that camper vibe a little bit. But one problem with that is it like totally eliminates the realism feel to me. And I know Call of Duty is not like a simulator, I get it, but at the same time, it's like there's just, when you eliminate so much immersion to the point where it doesn't even feel like a, kind of an army shooting game, it feels more like a fantasy Halo, especially with all the lasers and all the jetpacks. I'm not even really talking about that when I say this, like I'm really not. Believe it or not, I'm not even actually really talking about, all the crazy crap they put in. I'm just talking about the map design. And you could totally eliminate, the jetpack games, even the map design like in the World War II Call of Duty and Black Ops 3 seemed like a lot of those maps had more of that super small corridor, indoor type of feel. It's so bizarre because, like, even the maps that are more outdoor, like I was saying, they still somehow manage to have that feeling to them. It's so weird. Like, you'll see that on a lot, and I'm seeing it for Black Ops 4. That's what really worries me about that game. Every single map I've seen for Black Ops 4 so far has looked like that. Sort of that, like, everywhere you turn, it's like corridors. They had a crap load of it in, I think it was Infinite Warfare. Oh my god, dude. That was like the most basic shooting arcade I've ever seen in my life. It eliminates so much fun of the game. That, like where the maps just don't even feel real. Feels like you're more in a pre-baked arena than you are like a real place. That's what I don't like, right? That's my biggest kind of complaint with it. And even a lot of the World War II maps, Call of Duty World War II, they felt a little bit like that as well. And that's one reason why I didn't really like that game a whole lot. It's like, I feel like they totally miss out on that, or some of the maps have more of a natural trees, bush, something to hide. It's not necessarily hide in like camp, but it's like where it eliminates that super basic gameplay loop of like, okay, walk down this corridor. If your eyes spot any movement of any sort, then just shoot at it. It just amplifies that super basic, already basic Call of Duty sort of combat system when you make the maps. Like, it makes it even worse. Makes it like twice as bad. Oh, what the... Got that weird old school knife system in these older Call of Duties. But like I wanted to go back to this just to kind of show you. And I'll go on another map here in a minute. But just so much more realism, so much more ability to use like DMRs and snipers and stuff. Doesn't feel like it's like you have to have an SMG or an assault rifle every single time you play a game. Even though I'm using I think it's like technically, what is this in here? Is this an assault rifle? I don't know what this is. I think it's just a rifle, but it's like the only... full auto one in the game or something like that. So either way, But yeah, that's probably one of the biggest things I've noticed in some of the modern recent Call of Duties. It's not just that a lot of them are like indoor filling, corridor filling, but also it's so basic. It's like every map almost feels the same. Kind of gets that like it's like they're almost like they're catering way too much to that pro scene. You know that almost like that three lane down, one down the middle, one down the left side, one down the right side lane. Every map's like small, medium size. Not a whole lot of like other like just random like little sniper towers or random cool things you used to find back in the day on older Call of Duty maps. They've totally lost that sort of feel. And these days, man, it was just fun, man. Like, I don't know. It's just so much fun feeling like any gun is viable. You know, that's a good Call of Duty map. And it's okay to have a smaller map. And it's even okay to have a map that's more indoors. I have no problem with the whole map that's kind of like an indoor type of feel. There is one map on this game in particular I can remember is like that. Dome is a little bit like that, right? Let me explain it to you like this. Basically, you know how this game had Dome in it, the really, really small map, where it was like, basically the dome in this game, right? Like the size of it, the feel of it, where it's all kind of like you're in a structure of some sort. Basically, just about 99% of the maps in a modern day Call of Duty, just about all of those feel like what Dome felt like back in this day. They feel that size, they feel tight, way too tight. It makes everything too chaotic. And I see that sort of gameplay in Black Ops 4, and it's kind of giving me a bad taste in my mouth, man, or bad, I don't know what you call it, bad fucking sight. Like, I don't know. It's not looking like that old school map feel. And every map doesn't have to be a CeeLo or that really wide open map in Modern Warfare 2 like this one. But I think every Call of Duty needs one of those bigger, like what you call quote unquote sniper map with like actual foliage, trees, grass, more outdoor organic environments, and then have some of them that are more like medium to large size, and then maybe you've got one or two maps that are small maps. But nowadays, like every single map is that medium to small map with like, there's a lot of structure. It's almost like you took an organic map and then just completely overloaded it with like, concrete corridors. Like it doesn't feel natural and organic at all anymore, man. And it totally kills your whole feeling of like realism. You lose all your immersion, and there still is some importance to have immersion in Call of Duty. Like I get it's not that big of a like simulator game, but at the same time, this World at War right here had more immersion than any Call of Duty after it. Period. And this game was made what, like 10 years ago now, and it had more immersion than all of those new ones. Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, the World War II game that just recently came out last year. All that stuff, man. This game has got more realism than that. More grit, more blood, more everything. Everything about it's more real feel. Maps feel more real. Like, look at this tree right here, dude. Is this not sick? A map like this? You got this river down here. Like, what? How could you, like, ever stray away from this? I don't know. I just feel like some of their map designers have gotten way off from what Call of Duty is known for, what it's all about. Like, they've just went down this totally weird route with it, and not exactly sure why they've done that. This gun's got some kick, boy. This is back in the day when the guns actually had kick and stuff on them. That's cool, man. You didn't have 1,000 different, like, grip attachments and this, that, and another, and a brother, thermals, heartbeat sensors, grips, grip, fucking that newer Call of Duty's got way too much. And it's almost like they test the guns in a state of like no attachments. That seems like what they do in the modern Call of Duties. They'll go in there and test all the guns with no attachments on them, but then it's like when you start putting attachments on stuff, they're way overpowered, like absolutely way overpowered. Just about every gun in a modern Call of Duty, like if you put a grip and this, that, and another on it, it's just way OP, dog. Let me see if I can get this guy without dying. This is scary. Got me a little push, baby. PPSH. Not a long-range weapon at all. Okay. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of come in here and talk about this map design. Not only is it just general size way too small, overall, but it's that every map feels the same. It's the layouts are all way too identical. The too much corridor, too much actual like structural stuff, needs more organic feel. Even if it's a Black Ops game, like it's okay to have an organic feeling map, man. I don't know. That's just me personally. Let me know what you guys think in the comments on that. Just my own opinion, right? Oh, I thought that was my teammate right there. It had that, his green name was right over the top of that. But yeah, dude. And I'd noticed that, like, there was some really cool maps, organic style maps like this, more open, back in the original Modern Warfare, right? And even in Modern Warfare 2, it had a lot of cool, original kind of design Call of Duty maps. It's like I said, it's not, and even like Black Ops 1 had a couple like that, a couple of cool ones like that. It's not until they got like that, I noticed it around kind of the Black Ops 2, like Advanced Warfare, Infinite. Really noticed it in Infinite. That was basically a Halo Call of Duty. Like, straight up. Infinite Warfare, that wasn't even Call of Duty, dude. That was Halo. Like, might as well have been playing Halo in that motherfucker, because all you were hitting was, like, super standard. Oh, a little Dubsky. Super standard. I just don't like that feeling of, like, walking through a corridor, right? It's already such a simplistic point, shoot, kill, first guy to see the other guy kills the other guy instantly kind of game. But then on top of that, when you add the most simpleton fuck corridor system, where it's like you just look down a hallway and there's no cover, nothing to like duck behind, nothing to remotely run behind. It's just like these perfectly squared off, like you're almost in an alien spaceship, right? That sort of corridor feel. That's how just about every Call of Duty nowadays feels. Even though they kind of butter it up a little bit, they may change the scenery, right? They may kind of change the way all that looks on it. It still has that weird, bizarre, like, corridor layout to it. That's what you got to understand about it. Still has that really weird feeling, and it just feels like... And then they got to, like, almost tune the snipers to be where they're okay close up, because every map is like a close-up map. And so then the snipers feel weird. They don't even feel like a long-range weapon. They feel like this bizarre, like, medium range. Everybody puts an ACOG on it. It feels like this bizarre, weird type of thing. I can't remember which game. I don't know if that was... I think it was... Oh, yeah, even Call of Duty World War II. I noticed it in. Not World at War, but World War II, right? Don't get my games twisted here. It's pretty easy to do that. Call of Duty World War II, it felt like the sniping in that game was literally like... you were shooting fish in a barrel. There would be only one little sector where the actual enemies could run out, because the corridors and stuff were so simplistic. There were so many, like, not enough routes to run down, like, not enough of those little secret side routes. There needs to be more of that. They're totally missing that side of it. So it becomes where, like, it's so predictable where people are going to be coming from that you're just sitting there with your sniper scoped right into one little square inch area on the map, and then dudes just run across, their heads pop up, and you shoot them. Like, it's so simplistic. There's none of that, like, looking off in the distance, aiming, and then, like, turning and shooting a guy. They're so simplistic how they run to you, because the corridor system kind of forces them down a little rat tunnel, right? And it makes it to where it's hard for them to dodge getting shot. It's so simple when you're shooting at them. Doesn't take hardly any of that, like, horizontal turning to shoot somebody, because they're down a corridor. Like, it'd be like if you just took this little part right here, right, and you cut off, like, right about where that tree is, and you cut off about right there, and that was, like, the whole map. That's what new Call of Duties feel like. They feel like, right, like, outside of that tree is not the map. Outside of that right there is not the map. It's like just this little bit right here, right? I'm sure you can probably tell exactly what I'm talking about. You know, that down in a trench map on Call of Duty World War II feels just like this. This is the size that map feels like. So simplistic, so just like up in your face, like gunfire. And it's okay to have small maps, man, but they got to start opening them up. They got to start putting more cool stuff to kind of duck behind, hide behind, like little barriers like that. Certain trees to get behind, little barricades like this. Make it more open. You know, they're missing that entire, like, open area system to their newer maps on Call of Duty. So, and it's okay to have one like more competitive style map. That's okay. I'm not saying the whole game has to be, you know, like I said, just full of these open maps or anything. I'm just looking for more variation in general. You know, like that's all I'm trying to get at here. They're totally missing the variation side of it nowadays, where it got that feeling like there's multiple different kind of maps, man. Totally gone. So, either way, I think that's one really big thing. You know, a lot of people talk about, oh, Call of Duty is not as fun anymore. Oh, it's kind of boring. I think that's one really big contributing factor to it, is simply the map design. Doesn't even feel like it's the same people designing the maps that used to design Call of Duty maps. And not only that, but like a lot of other aspects to the game, like certain guns, stuff like that. But maps are a big thing because it's what you're playing on, man. You know, you can have the best guns in the world, best balance in the world, but if your maps suck ass, you don't really have a whole lot of anything. So that's kind of something I noticed with the Call of Duty World War II. You know, even though it went all back, boots on the ground and everything, they still kept that really bizarre, weird map feeling to it. So something that really killed it for me, personally. That's why I didn't play it hardly very long at all. Said it was going to die out pretty quick, and it did die out pretty quick for like a lot of people. It's not just me. A lot of people kind of felt that way about it. What in the... Look at this little cat back here. Oh, my God. Gotta love it, bro. See, that right there would never happen in a newer Call of Duty. You'd never have a sniper, like, laying off in the distance, totally prone, and you can, like, sneak up behind him and knife him. The maps are too basic. They're too narrow. They're too corridor. They're too simplistic. You'd never, ever have that. You'd never have the opportunity to run up behind somebody. Look at how far this map comes back here. This is insane, dude. This is seriously like, no joke, like probably 2 or 3 times bigger than your average modern day Call of Duty map. 2 or 3 times, dog. That's insane. That is just absolutely insane. Like, I'm not even kidding when I'm saying that. It's just so much more gameplay potential when you make maps bigger like this. Just like on another level of what all you can do and fun little, you know, occasions and little stuff, little battles you can get in and cool stuff like that. Like, look at this little room battle I'm having over there here that's totally separate from every other part of the map. Like, I feel like some of the modern Call of Duties, the maps may not necessarily be a whole lot smaller in theory, but they just feel smaller. It's the design of it, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like there's so much more spots on the map, it feels like you can't even walk at all. Whereas like the old school Call of Duties, you would be able to walk on those places. Does that make any sense to you? Like certain areas where you used to be able to like kind of walk through the grass or walk up that little tree area, well now it's like totally blocked off. You can't even go there. It's like, you know, you hit an invisible wall and you got to like turn down this other little corridor. So yeah, man, either way, that's just my opinion. You know, from a guy played these old Call of Duties back in the day, a lot of multiplayer time on this stuff. I played, you know, the original Modern Warfare a lot. A ton of sick maps on that, dude. Like, god dang. So many cool ones. And then you had the cool maps on this. Tons of cool on Modern Warfare 2. Maybe, I can't remember a lot of the maps on Modern Warfare 3. I don't know when they started going to that super, like, structural corridor system. But you'll know what I'm saying, though. Like, if you'll go back and look at the history of the maps and just see how they've changed from that sort of like that Black Ops 2 to, you know, Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, World War 2, Black Ops 3, right? You kind of get in a couple of those places and you can see what I'm talking about, dude. Just like totally missing a certain something, and like secret sauce, you know, their maps are missing that now. So either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.